Andrew Urquhart with you on the program today, and gotta love Mondays. Look, I know last Monday was a public holiday and everyone had a sleep in, but that was an aberration. It is big boy pants, big girl pants, come on. It is off to work to do the thing that you do to earn a crust so that you can pay the bills, pay the mortgage, feed the children, all of those sort of stuff. Or is it? Maybe you are in that situation where you work from home. You got a home office. You don't even need to put your big boy pants on, as long as it is below the Zoom view on the camera. Somebody, look, I'm not going to ask that question of him, but somebody who does do a fair amount of working from home is Tom O'Neill from cv.co.nz. Tom, kia ora, good morning.
Morena, my friend.
Okay, I said I wasn't going to, but now I'm curious. Now the listeners want to know, pants or no pants this morning, Tom?
Yeah, look, right now wearing a suit jacket and business shirt and a pair of Billabong surf trunks.
You're rocking it, man. You're rocking it. And hey, that is just one of the advantages in working from home. Thank you for confessions. Good for the soul, Tom. And it is really good. It is. Look, I know that you do a fair amount of work from home, as well as traveling and meeting clients and doing those sorts of things. So, I mean, you're in a good place to be able to measure this and say, hey, working from home certainly got its advantages, doesn't it?
Oh, look, yeah. I mean, some people it didn't suit them, you know.
Yep.
But I know for me personally, I have had a wonderful, wonderful blessing where I've been literally the last 20 years pretty much working from home, going off site to meet clients, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the vast majority of my time is spent at home, my home office.
Yep.
And just awesome.
Now, you're an early adopter in that regard. Everybody was told to work from home for at least a couple of years during the COVID time. And quite a few of us went, you know what? This is kind of good. I could get used to this. In fact, I already have. And then when it came to go back to work, there was a certain reluctance and conversations with the boss going, would it be okay if I worked from home, or even worked from home a couple of days a week? Some negotiations happening. I think more Kiwis work from home now post-COVID than ever before.
Look, 100%. And I think, I mean, it's a global phenomenon. But I mean, I was writing articles for years saying we should be doing more remote work, you know? And then COVID came, and then HR and senior executives realized actually the team weren't going to steal from them. They weren't going to just go swimming all afternoon or, you know, not answer the phone. Actually, you can trust your employees, you know? And so suddenly that transforms how work takes place in more sort of traditional roles. I mean, you know, you've got, you know, let's say receptionist or retail sales. You need to be in an environment, of course. But, you know, for the very huge swathe of the population, HR now trusts them to, do maybe 1, 2, 3 days at home.
Now, they may be wearing Billabong shorts, but no judgment. Because that may improve their productivity rather than decrease it, right? And with the exception of today, nobody needs to know, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, one of the tips I always talk about is when you have a home office, is you know, one of the things is get dressed, and I cheekily say both halves. You know, but I mean, if you're working from home, I mean, you don't need to wear a full suit necessarily. If you're in a sooty type job. But, you know, we want to get that sense. We're not just wandering around in dressing gown or PJs all day. You know, that we have an actual rhythm. We create a routine that really gives us that framework to operate in. And it's really cool.
I was just to say, because there is a downside to working from home. That we can lean into this a little bit too much. It can have an impact not just on our career, but our health and our well-being generally, and making a distinction between, this is me at home relaxing, and this is me when I'm in work mode. If you blur the edges too much, it can upset a bunch of stuff, right?
Look, absolutely. I mean, and also family dynamics, you know. Suddenly dad's available, but he's not, you know, or, you know, here's mum, you know, look, we can go and chat to mum. Oh, no, we can't. Mum's on a Skype call to a boss, you know, whatever it is. So again, it does take a lot of good conversations, honest and open conversations, sort of at the start of this process with family members and friends. to really talk through how best to know when, dad's available, not available, when mum's leading a team, when mum's not,
Yeah, yeah.
So I heard the stories of people having signs and just putting them on the door,
Yep.
or a hat. Hat on a coat stand means please do not come in.
Yeah.
Hat off the coat stand, barge on in, no problems.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and there's some good tips on this one. The advantages of getting dressed, honestly, even if you're not on a Zoom call, because there's something about saying, hey, I'm putting on the clothes that I would put on if I was going to work, helps get you in that sort of at-work mindset, even if nobody sees what you look like, right?
Yeah, and I think that's certainly a part of it, just that psychology of, yeah, I'm at work. Even though the environment around me happens to be the same that I spent the weekend in,
Yeah.
we should see this as a bonus and a blessing to work from home if, we have that opportunity, not frustration and, I'll just work from home. It's incredible. We can, we work, we start work at, let's say, 8:30. So, our commute is, literally 1 second.
Yeah.
So we should be, being really positive about this as an opportunity, because I know some people have not that opportunity now. They've worked from home, they love it, they can interact with their kids and, wife, husband, whatever, and then now they're back to the 40 hours a week in the office and they really miss it.
Well, hey, at least in terms of productivity, the commute time, as you mentioned, I mean, that's certainly something which improves our productivity. But how do we get the structure right? I mean, this is something you've been doing for a while now. What sort of parameters, what sort of framework do we need to put in place to make sure we're maximizing the benefits of working from home and minimizing some of the negative flow-on effects of that?
Yeah, I mean, besides sort of getting dressed,
yep.
As I say, set up that routine. You're starting work at 8:30 or whatever time you normally start. You're going to have a morning tea. You're going to have a break for lunch. You're going to have an afternoon tea, and then you're going to knock off.
Yep.
You may do it that you just minimize, the half hour, full hour for lunch. You may do a half hour. And that means, as long as your boss is cool with it, you're knocking off at 4:30. You may be still available over the phone, but you're not going to be sitting at your laptop. Setting up that routine just to give you that sense of, boom, this is my expectation to myself. Minimizing distractions is really, really important. I mean, obviously having, a bird or, dogs. I mean, we're used to dogs and cats and birds going bananas during Skype calls and Zoom calls, and that's okay. But minimize the other things like, Facebook, TikTok, those sort of things. Those are the distractions that we sit there, YouTube reels, we'll sit there and we'll think, I'll just watch this for 5 minutes. 2 hours later, we've watched, all the latest YouTube reels.
To be fair, Tom, some people have perfected the art of doing that at work at their actual desk. So to bring that into a working from home situation is just consistency, really, although perhaps less chance of getting caught by the boss if you're doing it at home, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, end of the day, roles, for a lot of roles, they're outcome based, right? So you've got to create this or do that or achieve this, and so it sets itself up well for a virtual office environment. I mean, having a good desk setup is really, really cool. Where you're not sitting at the kitchen table and you're not doing the same. You're not sort of all your shoulders are all cramped up. You're actually taking this seriously, and you maybe have a room dedicated to your office, or maybe a section of your lounge dedicated to an office. It doesn't have to be huge, just needs really enough space for a screen, a laptop, a mouse, and a keyboard, and you're away.
Now, I know some employees, and it's certainly worth asking, some employers, I should say, would offer some support in that regard, either supplying some computer equipment or an office chair, just to make sure that you're in that space. Certainly worth asking the question.
Oh, yeah, look, 100%. If you are in a permanent setup or 2 or 3 days a week, I'd certainly be saying, look, can you help me out with a second screen? I can plug my laptop into a second screen, bam, now I'm a lot more efficient. Chairs, obviously, ergonomic chair, a good desk setup, I mean, if this is your new workspace, there is an obligation, health and safety wise, for your employer to make sure it is safe and does operate well. So I'd certainly had no problem saying to my boss, look, if this is the run of it now, can you help me, sort out my actual setup itself?
Although, to be fair, if working from home was your idea, and think of the money you're saving on petrol, if to make it happen you need to buy yourself a decent chair for home, then do what you need to do to make it happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I'd see it myself. I mean, I'm not going into the office, let's say today. So I live in the country, so we'd be looking $50, there and back, $45 there and back, doing that 5 days a week. Sorry,
Yeah.
5 days a week. It feels like 7 sometimes.
Yep.
Doing that 5 days a week. I'm just saving so much money. So, hey, look, 1 week of not spending petrol, I've got a really good chair now.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for gaming as well. But I mean, that's back to the other topic. Yeah, exactly.
And we're investing in ourselves as well. So this is the other thing. We're investing in our future health in terms of this, both mental and physical.
Just finally on this one, because Tom, you and I have talked a lot about the process of getting a job, or if you're changing jobs and interview strategies and those sorts of things. Is this a question that you could ask at an interview stage, to ask whether or not there's any flexibility of perhaps some working from home, particularly around school holidays, or even saying, look, could I do so many days at work and so many days from home? Do you bring that up in the interview, or are you really pushing your luck to do that? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, personally myself, I would do it. I love working from home. I must say, I enjoy going into an office environment too. So for me personally, 2 days a week at the office, 3 days of work from home would be ideal. And so really just take some cues during the interview and just have a look at the organisation and really see how they are set up.
Yep.
And then at the second interview, there's now a much higher chance that things are looking good, and just sort of lightly bring it up there.
And hey, that's very good advice there. Not necessarily first impressions. Well, this guy just wants to sit at home and spend the day on Facebook, and he wants me to pay him. Well, that's an easy no. But look, if they're interested in you and you're interested in doing it, I mean, to say, hey, would this be possible? Could we explore? But if it turns out that it's a deal breaker and you really want the job, then of course you've got some consideration as to how important working from home is if you want the job, I suppose.
Oh, look, 100%. At the end of the day, there's a job. If you're really keen, and you've got to drive an hour one way, that's something you just factor into your decision making.
Yeah.
It may be a 10 out of 10 job, but the commute is 1 out of 10, so that's the deal breaker.
Yeah.
But maybe you can do 2 days a week, 3 days a weekend, and that maybe could be something that really shapes it up differently.
This is again, because you and I have talked about not mentioning money in the interview process, certainly not in the first part of it. But I mean, one of the things that we've talked about is that it will cost you as an employee a lot less money if you're working from home and not having to travel. Is there space for negotiation and say, hey, look, this would be really good for my family life. It would also save me a bunch of money at the moment. If you would allow me to work from home some of the time, I would be happy to, defer a salary increase or drop my hourly rate by a fraction. Those conversations, not necessarily at a job interview, but if you're a highly respected and valued employee, you can do that type of negotiation with the boss or the HR person?
Oh, yeah. I don't necessarily think we need to take a drop in salary or something like that. And in a way, we're already saving money.
Yeah.
We're not using power. We're not taking up space. We've now freed up that space for someone else. At home is as legitimate an office space these days is in the office itself.
Yeah.
I tend to use it. I'd certainly, absolutely. If you're an established team member, 100% bring it up. But also during an interview, let's say you want, 95,000 and they're only prepared to pay sort of 87.
Yep.
You say, well, I'm happy to accept 87 if I can, work from home 2 days a week, because that'll be, and so use that to an extent as part of that negotiation. Because I know for me, working from home is worth, 20, 30,000 a year.
Yeah.
Just because it just gives me that freedom to spend time with my whānau and have the life I want to live.
Yeah, but I mean, don't sell yourself short. Don't necessarily let the boss know that you'd take a 20,000 pay cut to work at home.
No,
exactly.
Don't mention that at all.
Tom, wisdom and really great advice as always, and of course plenty more of that available at cv.co.nz. And hey, you rock those board shorts, Tom. Thank you very much. Is it too much to ask to stand up and give us a little bit of a twirl on the camera?
Yeah, right.
Okay, here we go.
There we are. Little bit of a twirl. Can't quite see. There we go. Don't know if you saw that. Yeah, pretty flash.
I've probably seen more than I wanted to, actually, Tom. But thank you once again, my friend. Thanks for being on the program today.
God bless. Cheers.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.